has the narcissist gone forever? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I deal with thousands of comments across my various platforms, each and every day, emails, queries, etc., and consultations. And one of the most common errors that is made by individuals with regard to their understanding of narcissists and the dynamic between them and the narcissist is to believe that the narcissist is capable of disappearing forever, that they've not heard from the narcissist for a number of weeks and therefore it's over, that they are now going to be left alone, that the narcissist is not going to come back, that the narcissist is not going to darken your doorstep. Many instances, people will crow about, I did this, and therefore I will not see the narcissist's peasy ass ever again. He or she is too frightened to come anywhere near me. I've wounded them so extensively, they will never return and hoover me. I'm hoover free. I don't think that they will ever come back to me. I won't be hoovered. I know that for certain. No, all of that is wrong. Even when a narcissist dies, that isn't the end, because we have the capability to hoover you from beyond the grave. And I shall be talking about instances where that occurs and why in a separate video. The only certainty whereby you will not be hoovered is when you are dead. And therefore, even if a hoover is attempted, you of course cannot know anything about it. Invariably, the death of the narcissist minimises considerably, although does not, as I've just explained, completely extinguish the risk of you being hoovered, as there might be a hoover from beyond the grave. To think that the narcissist has gone forever is emotional thinking. In some instances, it is founded on a fundamental misunderstanding of narcissism and how we operate, and is often driven by your own emotional thinking, where you are an empathic individual, to cause you to believe that somehow you are now safe, that the narcissist has beat a retreat and will not ever be seen again. Sometimes it is as a consequence of you imposing your worldview onto the behaviour of the narcissist, that you think, well, if that was me, I wouldn't show my face around here ever again, and therefore you would think that the narcissist would behave in a similar way. But we don't. The reason for this is quite simply down to our compartmentalisation and the fact that narcissists operate in the moment. Yesterday and tomorrow are irrelevant, save to which the extent that they impact upon the now. An argument with a narcissist yesterday happened yesterday, and therefore is irrelevant, save where reference to yesterday's argument caters to the narcissist's need for the prime aims in the now. Hence, the narcissist will bring up the past, and therefore, to unconsciously assert control over you now, will make reference to the fact of, you were downright awful to me yesterday, shouting and screaming at me. I don't deserve to be treated that way. Yesterday's argument is resurrected. We never bury anything dead. Similarly, but going in the opposite direction, we utilise the future to control now. As I've explained in a separate video, this is future faking. The promise of something that will occur in the future being utilised to control you now, to extract fuel from you now, to gain a character trait from you now, to gain a residual benefit from you now. I want to marry you. I can't wait till we get married. I can't wait until we move in together. I'm so looking forward to taking you away on holiday. All of those things are being said in the now about a future event to effect an outcome in the now. And it is this operation of the narcissist in the now for all narcissists, because control must be now, fuel must be now. Of course, the greater and the ultra will have regard to what can come next as part of our planning and our calculated nature, but the vast majority of narcissists, being lesser and mid-range, are unaware and wholly focused upon what is happening in that instant, guided by their unconscious narcissism. And therefore, When it comes to the issue of the narcissist being gone forever, that is not the case. You might think that having an almighty humdinger of a row with the narcissist, where you expose the narcissist's behaviour to a range of people, means the narcissist is not going to come and bother you anymore. No, because once that event has happened, it has happened. It's fallen off the edge of the cliff, if you will. And at a future point, you will, in some shape or form, come on the radar of the narcissist. And at that point, the narcissism in the unconscious asks, is this appliance that has now come upon our narcissist radar, is this appliance under control? And invariably the answer is no, because the narcissism has no data about you, because there hasn't been any recent involvement. And therefore, because you, as an appliance that has come up on the narcissist radar, is not under control, the first law of narcissism applies, and therefore the narcissism then determines that control must be asserted over you, either directly, indirectly, or through withdrawal. The narcissism goes to the first assertion of control, direct, first, because this reaps the greatest rewards for us. We can assert control, we can draw fuel, we can get a character trait, and we can gain a residual benefit. So the narcissism always looks to utilise that first, if it can be done. And as part of doing that, the narcissism evaluates, is the stage set basically for a Hoover, and evaluates the various factors that go into the Hoover execution criteria to make a determination as to whether the Hoover will take place or will not. And just because you have wounded the narcissist extensively, that does not mean you're safe. It does not mean that the narcissist will stay away. All it means is that that is one factor amongst many which might cause the narcissist to be prevented from hoovering you, but it doesn't guarantee it. There might be a range of other factors which outweigh the wounding, meaning you're still hoovered. Or the wounding, of course, fades over time. And therefore, your substantial wounding of the narcissist 6 months ago is now irrelevant. You would think that because the narcissist had his behaviours exposed, that he wouldn't show his face around here ever again. But that was then, and this is now, and it's deleted. Of course, if the narcissist were to appear and you brought up the exposure, that would challenge the narcissist, necessitating a response from the narcissist to reject your threat. But the fact that it occurred 6 months ago is in effect deleted from the world of the narcissist. It is not a relevant consideration when the narcissism is evaluating whether there should be a Hoover or not. And therefore, in those circumstances, what happens is that the narcissism doesn't take the wounding into account because it's now irrelevant, and determines that it's easy enough to walk around to your house or send you a text message that there's a need for fuel, and that there are no other factors prohibiting a Hoover, so you get hoovered. To think that the narcissist is gone and has left you alone is a misunderstanding about narcissism and a common occurrence as a consequence of emotional thinking, causing you to believe that you're actually safe when you are not. And you must guard against this. You must not fall into the trap of believing, I'm safe, the narcissist is gone forever. You shouldn't be involved with that. What you ought to do is adopt the approach that there is always a risk of being hoovered, and it is a question of how great that risk is, whether it is high or low. But there is always, repeat, always a risk. The narcissist is not gone forever. We can return. Some people have said to me in consultation, HG, I've not heard anything for 8 weeks. I think that's it. He'll never come back again. 8 weeks is nothing. The narcissist is probably in a golden period with an intimate partner primary source, and that golden period could last 6, 12, 18 months, which means, all else being equal, the narcissist is focused elsewhere and isn't bothered about you. However, that intimate partner primary source will enter into devaluation, which heightens the risk for you of then being hoovered. There are lots of different factors which all play into one another, some making it more likely, some meaning it less likely. But there is no guarantee against ever being hoovered. You can make your defences very robust, which means that the likelihood of being hoovered is extremely low, and indeed, even if a hoover attempt is made, it can't get through because you've moved house and the narcissist doesn't know where you are, and you've changed your number, and you're not on social media, and all your friends have been instructed not to give any information to the narcissist that would enable the narcissist to know how to get in contact with you. Therefore, the chances of being hoovered there will be extremely low indeed. An attempt might be made, but you never learn of it because it fails. But do not think that just because you've not heard from the narcissist for a number of weeks or a number of months, that's it and it's over. It may well be the case that the narcissist has hoovered you, but you've got a good no-contact regime, and therefore the narcissist hasn't gone, you just haven't realised you've been hoovered. But well done on that good no-contact regime. More usually, it's because the narcissist hasn't been triggered to think about you, or has, and the narcissism has not selected a hoover, and instead has asserted control over you by smearing, which you've not heard about, or has stayed in a position of withdrawal. It is never the case that the narcissist has gone forever, and to think that the narcissist has gone forever is dangerous. It shows misunderstanding and the presence of emotional thinking, and could result in you engaging in behaviours which bring you on the radar of the narcissist, thus provoking a hoover trigger, leading to a hoover, or causing you to lower your defences unnecessarily, meaning that you then become more likely to be hoovered. Those are things that you need to be wary of. If you want to know whether your circumstances result in a high or medium or low risk with regard to being hoovered, arrange an audio consultation with me. And using my expertise, I will go through all the various factors, explaining the level of risk that you face, and then helping you reduce that level of risk further. You'll find details of that in the video description in order to arrange an audio consultation. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.